Hello guys, welcome back to MMA Unhinged. Today I'm joined by UFC fighter Mick Parkin. First time on the show, Mick, so thank you very much for joining me. How have you been since we last spoke at the airport? Of course, you got another win under your belt. So how's things been since then?
Yeah, it's been amazing, all good, yeah. Little time off, couple of weeks, and then back at it now.
Yeah, well, as we were speaking before, you've obviously been away, you're back in training now, but I want to ask about, what do you do in Vegas? Obviously, last time I saw you in, when I come back from Amsterdam, I saw you in the Newcastle airport. I believe you were in Vegas for like about a week. Is there anything that you like to do? I believe all your fights, bar one, has been in the Apex, isn't it?
Yeah, I like to go a week before just to get used to the time zone and everything. I feel like it takes about 2 or 3 days to get used to it, or it seems to me. I flew out, I think it was the Saturday morning. I ended up getting to America there like Saturday night, so it's perfect. Just went straight to bed. Then nothing much really. There, just chill. I've seen it all now, but just having a few walks, go to the casinos, and just chill out really for the week. I don't do much training. Maybe some light pads, some light technical stuff. And that was it really. And then depends because the first time I was there, I think the flu was back pretty much straight away Sunday morning. But this time I got Sunday night, so I got like an extra half a day there. Because obviously I fought Saturday afternoon, so I got the full Saturday night and a full day Sunday, which is good because I can sort of like pig out on all the sweets and everything.
Yeah, you're in the right place to do it. They love their sweets and things over there. So do you train like after a fight as well? Like just even hit pads or anything?
After the fight?
Yeah.
Not really. Usually I'll try and have like a week off. Usually I was quite okay for the last fight. My foot was a bit sore, kicking and stuff like that, but I always usually need a week off. If it's like, obviously I had the cut as well, so I had to take a few weeks off training and get hit for that. Didn't want to open up, got a few stitches in. So I just try and chill out for a week. If I'm fine, I would go straight back to training. Obviously, if I'm injured, I'll take maybe a bit more time off, but I try to get in as quick as possible, really.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought you meant that you trained straight after Vegas. I was going to say, that's wild, man. You've just been in a 3-round scrap. But in your last fight against Usman, I've noticed that a lot of these, heavyweights, obviously Tom Aspinall yourself, are you noticing a speed advantage when you're fighting a lot of these maybe foreign heavyweights? I've watched all your fights and you just seem a little bit faster. Do you realize that when you're in the cage?
I knew he was fast and explosive, but I think he was more because he went from nothing to like really fast, like an explosive start. But I feel okay in that. I train with some good people, so I'm always confident, and I think my technique's always a little bit better, so I'm not getting hit. Well, obviously I did get hit with a stupid shot straight at the beginning, but as soon as that was out of the way, I sort of composed myself. I never got caught with anything. I felt after. Because I would drill quite a lot on defence and stuff like that. Anyone can just swing it out, really, especially at heavyweight. So try to rely a little bit on defence as well. But it was a good fight. It went exactly how I thought it was. With bearing in mind, I thought he might try and wrestle the end of the second and third round. So I had a game plan to if he get wrestled. But I thought it worked better out for me because I felt like I was probably a bit fitter than him. He would slow down first if he started to wrestle. Because I don't think he'll get us down. If he did, I think I'd be quite confident getting back on my feet. And I thought he was sort of tiring a little bit. So I'm surprised, especially with the end of the third round. I thought definitely, I heard like the coach show like 90 seconds left. So I thought, he's definitely going to shoot or something now. But it never came. I don't know why. Maybe his leg was maybe a bit worse than I thought, or maybe he thought he was winning. I don't know. But I definitely thought he was going to wrestle on this.
Yeah, well, you've kind of answered two of my questions because when I watched your post interview back, you said about how you expected him to wrestle. And personally, when I was reading up before the fight, I thought that's going to be his kind of where he's going to go. Maybe even fake something and throw an overhand or something, but you didn't really get much of that. Do you think a lot of that probably, well, like you say, you don't really know, but that leg probably caused a lot of the damage? And I was also going to ask, he seemed surprised when it was 29-28, and I've watched it back and it seemed pretty clear to me that it was 29-28. Do you have any understanding why he would have thought that he got the win?
Obviously the wrestling stuff. Obviously the little stuff from there you can't really see, but maybe it's the little angle changes. Maybe he's putting them off. Maybe he likes to shoot someone against the cage. I felt like I never hit the cage, so maybe that was why. And then fights are different. I've been in fights where I felt I've done a little bit worse, and then you look them back and you've done good. And I've been in fights where you feel you've done okay, and like you've probably done a little bit worse. So it's different in that. He might have thought he was landing loads of shots, but I felt like all of his shots were either hitting the air or hitting me gloves. I think he definitely won the first round of that flurry in opening the big cut because of the damage. If he took out the flurry, I think nothing else really happened, and maybe Zach could even won that round. But obviously, you understand why because he landed the heavy shots, and it's going to be scored now on who gets close to finishing the fight, which he definitely did. And then Other than that, I can't remember hitting. I think the end of the last round he hit us with some like a big right hand or something, or like a glancing one. But other than that, I don't think. I thought landed a lot of kicks to his leg. Obviously a lot of strikes to his head. But like I said, it's different. You might watch it back and felt differently, or he might have felt really good in there. But he sometimes the shots that hit your glove, he might think they were landing clean. I don't know, but I felt pretty confident that I'd won the last 2 rounds. I think the coaches did as well, because going into the third, he said it was 1-1 going into the third. So I felt okay. But there's been worse decisions given in the UFC, so you never can like really like bang on it. It's still a weird feeling when you hear like the judges calling out. So I was like, I wonder what they thought or what they saw. But now it was a good fight. Like I said, I'll definitely thought he was going to wrestle more, but prepared to strike, and I think it was better. I think he was dangerous coming forward with his big shots, but I don't think he had the best technique. I think he was just more like a really athletic, explosive guy, which at heavyweight gets you pretty far. So it was a great fight for us at the time. I thought he was definitely dangerous, definitely beatable, and he had a really good following and stuff like that. So I think it was a great fight at a great time.
Yeah, it was definitely a great fight, and that shot that he landed on you in the first round, that's kind of one of the bigger shots that you've kind of faced. Really, you don't really seem your event really seems to be one of your key specialities. Did that first round, that first big shot, sort of wake you up a little bit? Because from then it was just your fight the whole way out. Personally, in my opinion.
Yeah, definitely. Like I said, maybe he's coming out a little bit like loose. It's weird at first when you feel in the mouth, and like he went from, like we said, 0 to 100. Caught us with a big shot. Definitely a little buzz. I didn't feel like I was like close to getting knocked out. Definitely a little buzz. I was still composed. I think I was hitting with a backhand or a left hook or something like that. Then he stepped back. I think I hurt him a little bit, and he stepped back, thinking, "Oh, got to like compose myself himself." And then what was up? My coach like says, "Oh, you're standing in range. Your hands are a little bit lower than they should be. Like tuck your chin." And then once I listened to the advice, I was okay. Then just moved my feet a little bit. I feel like moved my feet pretty good. Maybe I was caught a little bit cold or flat-footed. Something I need to work on. But so as I started moving my feet, it was like he was just hitting air every time.
Yeah, absolutely. And this kind of ties in with what I was saying about him and not wrestling. But kind of years ago, British fighters were kind of known to kind of lack skills in the wrestling and the BJJ kind of game, mainly because we didn't have the facilities. Now that's kind of sort of changed. We've got great ground game specialists, same with submission specialists. Do you feel that we're catching up, or maybe even at the level of these famous countries when it comes to grappling?
Yeah, definitely. I think that the wrestling's different. Like, don't get us wrong, in a straight wrestling match, he probably would beat us and be a lot better wrestler. But it's MMA, and the cage is massively involved. And I feel like freestyle wrestlers, unless you train with a cage, you don't really get the benefits of it. So that helps as well. Our cage wrestling's probably caught up, because theirs probably wasn't great to begin with. It was always from open player. And the grappling's definitely caught up. The fighters have caught up. And then, obviously, you've seen like Tom Aspinall, we're training with. He's obviously a really good grappler on the floor, like really good. And then Phil DeFries at my own gym. He's like a really strong wrestler and really, really dominant grappler. And he's probably one of the best in the world at grappling. So I feel like I'm quite good defensive grappling now and scrambling up through training with him all the time. So that's definitely helped. But yeah, I feel like people used to put them on like a pedestal, like the Americans, stuff like that, or the unbelievable wrestlers. But now it's probably the Russians that were getting like that. Their grappling was a little bit higher and stuff like that. But maybe it's just because they've done it for years and stuff like that. But we're definitely catching up now. I think there's loads of UK fighters that are great grapplers and loads that are good wrestlers. So I don't think it's like another thing of American wrestlers, English, like good strikers. I think it's mixed now. It's definitely caught up.
Yeah, absolutely. And just when you mentioned Tom there, does it? I've always thought with the big lads, with the heavyweights like yourselves, especially in England, like, did you struggle at the beginning to get training partners your size, your weight? Now I know with Tom Aspinall, he's trying to get all the UK fighters sort of together at the heavyweights. Early in your career, did you struggle to get the bodies to train with the way you'd want to?
Yeah, when I started my first gym, it was like a jiu-jitsu gym. I trained there. There was maybe 1 or 2. Usually find that there's a few big guys in like just jiu-jitsu classes, but you'll struggle for like MMA or kickboxing rounds. So I had like maybe 1 or 2 training partners that were big, or 1 mainly. And then when I switched over to TFT, which I've been there about 6 years now, I think 6 maybe longer. Obviously Phil was there, and then we had about 6 or 7 heavyweights who trained. A few of them got injured, a few stopped training now, so there's a few more. And then at the minute we've probably got 5 heavyweights who train now, like competitively who have fought or are fighting still, like amateur ones and some world pros. So there's a few there now to train with. I would say Phil's my main training partner. He's out there every day. And then Paul Elliott, who fights on 1FC, he's come with us now. He trains maybe 3-4 times a week with us. So another good addition, really good kickboxer, and his grappling's coming on loads. And then obviously Tom was training down there, and I think he was the same. He's got 1 good training partner, or maybe 2 floating in and out. and then a few fights. If people like say like if your main training part, you've only got one heavyweight, they get injured, you're sort of knackered really. So I think his dad was approaching a few people, and a few heavyweights had the same problem. And then a few went down, obviously like sparring with him, like they realised how good he is. His dad was teaching the classes, and it attracted more and more. And now, because obviously he's champion of the world, there's a lot more people who want to train with him and say how good he is. So now he's got like, we turn up on like, even on a stable day when there's not like anybody turn up specifically, there's maybe 7 high level heavyweights there, and like some of them are just giant guys. There's absolutely huge guys down there. And then from that, there's people messaging all the time that has to go train, so it'll only get bigger. People will be doing camps there, it'll just get better and better now.
Yeah, well, I think that's the best way to go about it, really, because, like you say, it can be difficult if one like training partner falls out. But going on to TFT, like you just spoke about, you guys are really making some movements now. You've got fighters fighting in basically every large promotion you could think of. A couple just at Octagon, and then you had Rise and Conquer just before that. What's it like at TFT? Has anything changed? Because you guys really seem on a fast rise at the moment.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of good guys there. Obviously, the North East, it maybe was like they haven't got the big shows to get on, and obviously you get the Cage Warriors or stuff like that, and maybe it's the more like Manchester gyms and London gyms had more opportunities. But we just train like, obviously Phil had been at KSW for like, I think he's been like 9 years there, champ or something now, or 5 or 6. It's something crazy. And so he was already on the big shows, and then you started training with him, and I probably knew, and my coach probably knew that I'd get there a little bit early, just with being heavyweight. You don't get as many fights before you're on the big show. Now we'll go to these massive organisations, KSW in Poland, like amazing shows, and then watching, it's like, oh, it's sort of achievable for you. You keep training, that's all you've got to do, keep training and get there. And obviously I got the call up for the Contender Series and did that path, and I got the UFC. Then there's like my friends, James Hendon, who you mentioned Octagon, who won the other day. He's like just annihilating people now. He seems to be another level. He's just waiting for that like one opportunity to maybe he's get the call at like a UFC, stuff like that. He's probably ready for it. And like there was maybe like likes of me, James Hendon, like Justin Burlinson, who are all about the same age, roughly, training for a while now, and just waiting for that little bit of luck as well as train hard. It'll definitely come for them. Just them are the lighter weights. Unfortunately, you've got to have a lot more fights at them weights because there's a lot more. I'm pretty lucky that there's not many heavyweights, so you have like 5 or 6 fights and you start pushing to a big show as well. And then obviously it's not an effect that the amateurs or the younger guys are looking up and training really well and saying like, oh, like what's the difference between them? Nothing really, just train hard and just keep turning up and keep getting better. So the gym's like doing amazing. There's a few there like high level that ready for the really big shows. There's a few who are knocking the door of like the smaller local shows or like European shows, and like they'll just keep knocking down, filtering, hopefully till we'll get loads of guys at the top.
Yeah, the north of England, like you mentioned before, seems that there's more fighters on the scene from the north of England. Like you say, it mainly is Manchester, Liverpool, but the north of England now, you've got a lot of fighters coming through. And also talking about something, I was going to mention UFC Manchester, UFC 304, I believe.
Yeah,
that was correct. Yeah. So you mentioned you want to be on that card. I'm just going to come to you with. I know you didn't say you don't mind who you want, but I've been looking at the roster. And I was looking at Carl Williams, and Shamil Kazeev. Shamil Kazeev recently just lost to Rosenstrike. Kind of, he seemed to gas out. And personally, I think that's an amazing fight for you. Would Shamil Kazeev be an interest of you? He obviously sort of didn't get fast track, but he got a good few wins under his belt. And he got a fight against Rosenstrike. Unfortunately, didn't go his way. Now he's coming off the back of a loss. You're coming off the back of a win. Is that a matchup that interests you at all?
Yeah, and them guys, like I said, I'm not really fussed now. It's not like ranked where you're looking at rankings. I'll just have anyone really to offer. I've watched both them fight. Just that Williams obviously fought on my show, so my coach was like, maybe he'll offer you somebody like him who's won his last one and looked pretty decent at it. So it could be something like that. That Shamil, it could be another guy like that. I would they seem to be pushing quite high. They're pushing like fight Rosenstruck, which is a hard fight for him straight away on his second UFC fight, I think it was. So they might be pushing him. So I don't know. They might give him somebody easier for his loss to build him back up, or they might give him to me, try and build me. I don't know how they work it. So yeah, any of them fights should be great. I think I definitely think I will beat them both. And obviously it's going to get the point now where you're going to get harder fighters, or harder fights, and then hopefully you break off. Like I don't know how they work it. They could push you into somebody to a top 15. I think one more win would probably put us into the top 15. That would be 4 fights, one in the UFC. But I would just take my time, have as many fights as possible. I'm still only 28. It's quite young as a heavyweight. And just fighting your way up. I would just want to fight them all really. But obviously, I know heavyweight's a bit different. You win a couple, and then you're in the top 15. You win a couple more, and you like push the top 5, and it's like up there. So just see how it goes. I just keep thinking. Just at the minute, just imagine. I don't even know if I'm on the Manchester card. I really want to be on it.
Mm-hmm.
Just obviously be amazing local show. So I'll try my best to get on that. I'm just gonna. I'm gonna train now, like I'm on it. Like I said, my friend Big Phil. He'll probably have a fight before then. So he's always in camp training. So I'll start sparring with him and stuff like that. So I'm always in the camp. Like a guy, Big Charles, is light heavyweight. He should have a fight soon. So he's in camp. So I'll probably jump in and do his rounds. So there's always somebody in there waiting for a fight. So I'm always sort of jumping in and sparring anywhere. And then obviously I'll just pick it up. Maybe it's 8 weeks out, and hopefully by then I've got a call to say that I'm on it. But yeah, it's looking good. I think like there's a few UK fighters now, and I imagine everyone wants to be in that card by the looks of it. It's going to be a really big card. But there's only 2 UK heavyweights, so that might work in my favour too. So exactly. I'm highly like thinking I'm on it. I'm definitely thinking I should be on it. But like I said, I don't know how the UFC will do it.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't see you not being on that card, definitely. So also, are you happy about, like you mentioned there about Shamil getting a little bit fast tracked? I'm a bit surprised that hasn't happened with you personally. When I saw you in the Contender Series, you're out the UK. A lot of the UK guys get pushed. Famously, Darren Till got pushed quite hard. Are you sort of happy that it's not gone the way that it did for Kaziev, just kind of getting thrown to the top 5? You know, the guy who's fought for an interim title not too long ago. Are you happy that you've sort of taking your time a little bit more than some fighters have been?
Oh yeah, definitely. Look, heavyweight, it'll happen. If you win, it just happens anyway. You win a couple and you're there. So it'll definitely happen. So what's the point of rushing it? Like I said, I'd fought on like a few local shows, and I didn't have like a really high level show competition until literally the Contender Series. And I think they definitely probably wanted the other guy. He'd fought on big American shows and stuff like that, and won the belts over there. And I think our first round finishes definitely wanted him. I think I was that maybe to lose. He was a massive fear, but I knew I was good. I just like thought like people were like, oh, he fought people losing records, but I couldn't get fights. It was so hard to get fights at heavyweight. So I just thought I could really. I did what I did, and I got the call and obviously won. And then people think like I think even with the Usman, like the UFC probably were trying to build Usman. I think he would have been 4 fights wins in the UFC. That would put him on like the longest win streak in the UFC heavyweights at the moment. That's how dangerous it is. So they'll probably be pushing him. That would have been his top 15 break, I think. So maybe they thought he would just walk through us, and then obviously I beat that. So then that's what happens. I'll just start beating people, and they're like, "Oh, this guy's good." Then he's push him and give him a harder fight. Oh, he's done well again. Or you get to a level where you get beat, and they're like, "Oh, start again," and stuff like that. So I feel it's definitely been fair with us. All the matchups have been great. First fight was Contender Series winner, 1 fight in the UFC. Second one was Contender Series winning, first fight in the UFC. Third fight, he won the Ultimate Fighter, and he had he had 3 fights in the UFC. It was my third one.
Yeah,
we both won them. So I feel like they've been really fair matchups, really. So next one, like I said, I'm expecting a little step up in competition now for a better opponent. But I don't know how it works. I've seen people who have won 4 and they've got somebody who's lost 1. So I don't know how they match it sometimes. But I'm quite happy with the path I'm going at the moment.
Yeah, perfect. Well, Shamil or Carl, I want that fight personally myself. But just quickly go back to 304. We assume Tom Aspinall's going to headline it. I just want to ask from your personal opinion. Obviously, you know Tom quite well. When you hear that he's going to accept another fight, knowing that he's interim champion, he doesn't really have to. Could you just tell that Tom was going to do that instantly just by knowing him, that he's not going to sit around and he's going to get back in and risk it all?
Yeah, he just wants to fight everybody. I think he's that confident and he's that good. I think he thinks he will. I think he will beat out all of them. So he's confident. Why not? Sitting around waiting for these fights as well, and there's no guarantee that Jones or Stipe will even fight him. So it's like he might sell for a year and then they've got a fight at the end of it. So it's probably better to stay active. Like I said, he's quite young as well for heavyweight. He's obviously smashed everybody. So and in a Manchester card, like a home crowd, that's probably he thought, oh, I definitely want to be on that. Like I said, he'll probably be main event. It's amazing for him. So I think he'll definitely be thinking the crowd, everything. It's amazing. He's fought under before, so it's definitely probably swayed him. But yeah, he doesn't seem the type to sit out. He's always training. He's in a fight and he's back to the gym next week, really training. That's all he really does. Looks after himself. He's got a good diet. He eats. He trains all the time. And yeah, he's amazing. So I think any of the guys really to give him, I think he'll beat them all really. And I think, and then to beat them in a home crowd, even better.
Yeah, that roof will absolutely just get torn off in Manchester if we see Tom Aspinall finish. I personally am hoping for Curtis Blades just after what happened in their fight last time. So either way, we've got some great matchups for that card. Just lastly, before we go, the UFC will be doing it a lot, so I'm going to ask you 3 fighters, and we'll go with either fight, trade, and avoid. And I've got 2 rounds, so we'll just see. First one, we've got Sergey Pavlovich, Cyril Gane, and Curtis Blades. Fight, trade, avoid.
I'll fight Cyril Gane.
Yeah,
be a good fight. Maybe train Curtis Blades. I feel like he'd probably show the most out of a lot of them. Sadly, the boy Pavlovich was probably the most dangerous anyway.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good pick. Yeah, Curtis Blades would be a good one. I want to see that. I'd love to see Curtis. I love seeing Curtis Blades fight anyway. That's why the Tom Aspinall fight is so entertaining to me.
He's a different style than most heavyweights. He can actually wrestle a bit. So, and like I said, most heavyweights can't grapple. So he's doing really well. He's good. He seems a nice guy as well. I think Tom after the fight, he was a great guy as well.
They had a beer together, I believe. I'm pretty sure they had a fight.
They had a beer. Tom said he's hard feelings. Obviously, it's just like a fight, but like he said, he'd love to get that one back. But like you say, he was a super nice guy, super chill. So that's nice to hear as well.
Right, that's definitely the fight to have. And then just lastly, we've got quite a bit of a harder one. We've got John Jones, Francis Ngannou, and Derek Lewis.
Maybe fight Lewis.
Yeah.
Train with Jones.
Yeah.
Avoid Ngannou. But purely from the fact, I think you can learn the most of John Jones out of all of them 3. But then I definitely think Lewis is definitely dangerous. If Lewis says this, he might be hitting it. But I definitely think he's a little bit of an easier or not as dangerous fight as Francis Ngannou.
Yeah. I try to put 2 big throwers in there. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely both dangerous.
Either way, you're going to get into a hard fight either way. But thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mick, for the time. It's been a great chat, and I can't wait. Fingers crossed. We hopefully get to see you before in Manchester. So thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, mate. Cheers. Thank you.